Hello everyone, welcome you all to today's discussion on the critical essay Modern Fiction. This is an important essay written by a renowned writer who was an English novelist and a critic who made significant contribution to the English novel. She is none other than Virginia Woolf. She has written this essay Modern Fiction and it was published in 1921, although it was already completed in 1919. So the essay it got published with a series of short stories which is called Monday or Tuesday. This essay it is a criticism of what? Criticism of the writers and literature from the earlier generation. Moreover, you can also say that this particular essay it acts as a guide of those writers of modern fiction to write what they feel and not what the society or publishers want them to write. That means this essay it acts as a guide for those writers of the modern fiction where they are guided to write as per their feelings and not as per the feelings of the society or the publishers. So, Virginia Woolf's modern fiction it details how modern fictional writers and authors should write, what inspires them and not to follow any special method. Virginia Woolf is urging the readers and about the fictional writers and authors who should write about the inspiration derived from them and not to follow any other special method rather than what inspires them. Okay, so basically you can say Virginia Woolf believed that writers are constrained by the publishing business, by what society believes literature should look like and what society has dictated how literature should be written. And that is what Virginia Woolf is arguing in this essay. Woolf also believed it is a writer's job to write the complexities in life, the unknown, and not the important things. So, what did we learn here is that the critic Virginia Woolf thinks that the writers they write under the constraint, under the pressure of the publishing business, and they have forgotten about their own inspirations and what led them to express their feelings. They are not writing it naturally based on the basis of their inspiration. Rather, they are writing how it should look, how it should be dictated by the society. Okay, so the literature by these writers, it's dictating how it should be written, not what they should write. Okay, and that is what is objected by Virginia Woolf. Modern fiction is one of the most effective seminar essays in criticism because it makes a clear break of modern fiction from the Victorian novel. Mrs. Woolf first traces the progress of the novel from its beginning in the 18th century, but she traces it based on the philosophy of evaluation in general. So, according to her, the earlier novelists did what they actually could within their limited means and with their simple tools and primitive materials. It might also be said that, I quote, Fielding did well and Jane Austen even better, I unquote. So through this essay, Virginia Woolf tries to express and discuss that, you know, how she follows the philosophy of evaluation. Okay. And according to her, the earlier novelists, what they actually did was very limited. They were very much restricted within a certain boundaries. Okay. So with all their simple tools and primitive materials, they used to write. And Virginia Woolf was strongly objecting those limitations because Mrs. Woolf, we are talking about Virginia Woolf. First she took a step of what? Evaluation, where she has traced the progress of the novel from its beginning to the in the 18th century. Okay, and she traces it on the basis of what? On the basis of philosophy of evaluation. Okay, so basically she is more evaluative. Okay, she tries to understand after evaluation. Okay, and that's why we can say that modern fiction is a deep rooted analysis of the writers or the literature which only follow strict rules or are under the pressure of publishing businesses. We know that literature, according to T.S. Eliot, is like everything else, a process that makes the present. And that is why it does not just improve it, it always keeps changing. Its material, it's not the same. Mrs. Woolf agrees with this expressions of Eliot on this point and says, "We do not come to write better. We only keep on moving now, a little in this direction, now in that, but with a circular motion." So, first we need to understand what T.S. Eliot said. T.S. Eliot said that literature is a process like all other processes that makes the present. Okay, literature, it makes the presence, and that is why it does not just improve, it keeps on changing. Literature, it keeps on changing, right? We all know each and every period has its own literature, each and every generation has its own literature, or each and every time period has its own literature, and that's why it keeps on changing. So Mrs. Woolf agrees with the point of Eliot, and she adds further that we do not come to write better. We only keep on moving. That means we keep on moving little with this direction sometime, with that direction sometime, and finally we revolve in a circular motion. So it is for the historian of literature to judge whether the modern novel has progressed from its earlier babblings. As a critic, Virginia Woolf upholds her right to judge the past with depth as well as doubt. She strongly believes that as a critic, she should, you know, uphold the right to judge the past with the depth as well as the doubt. That means it is open for criticism, right? Now, in this essay itself, Virginia Woolf also criticized some of the renowned writers. These writers are M.G. Wells, Arnon Bennett, and John Galsworthy. Why did she criticize them? Because of their unimportant things, and she usually mentioned them as materialist. Because according to her, these writers put life into their novels, and they are mainly concerned with the body but not with the soul of the novel. And particularly, she said so because, according to her, all are materialist and they are concerned with, technical fixities and not with the movements. But Mr. Bennett is quite exceptional according to her, and Mr. Bennett is perhaps the worst culprit out of the three writers according to her, okay? Because he can make a book so well constructed in his craftsmanship, but that is difficult even for the expecting critics to see through, which, chink or crevice decay can creep in. Basically, through the word crevice or chink, she used to refer to, narrow way. So that's how she says that, critics see through which, have a narrow observation. But being a kind of postmodernist, Mrs. Woolf would like the writer to leave the room in his own room. And according to her, there is nothing in a well constructed novel worth preserving and prosperity. And that's why she suggests that it would be better for literature to turn their backs on them so it can move forward for better or worse. While Woolf also criticized these three authors, she praises several other authors for their innovations. So it is not that she has only criticized in this entire essay. She has also praised some of the writers for their innovative measures. So basically her objection is with, the limited or the materialistic way of representing where there is no soul inside the novel. She criticized those writers for their materialistic attitudes. However, she has also praised several other authors for their, innovative measures. This group of writers she names spiritualist. So what we can understand from here is that materialist versus spiritualist, where materialist is referred to some of the writers which she criticized, such as M.G. Wells, Arnold Bennett, John Galsworthy. However, when she, praises writers for their innovation, she names them as spiritualists. And these writers, in this list of writers, there is a renowned writer which Woolf has included, that is James Joyce. Okay, so basically in this essay she has spoken about the literature and how, she accepts and rejects some of the scopes of the platform. Okay, So Woolf wanted writers to focus on the awkwardness of life and she craves for the originality in their work. So basically she urges and advises the modern fiction writers to write what interested them and neither what is demanding them maybe from the society or from the publishing businesses. So as a typical modern novelist and critic she advised the modern fiction writers and she advised them to look life within and not to use some tyrant plus just because the life is in a tyranny. So basically she asks and urges also advises the modern fiction writers to explore life not as a series of some giglams or symmetrically arranged. Moreover, so you can see the words such as gig lamps here, right? And also luminous hello. So first let's try to understand why Virginia Woolf says that no life should not be treated as some series of gig lamps. Why? Because gig lamps you can understand from the term itself that gig lamps are you can say a pair. Gig lamps is a pair of glasses which you use for correction, maybe because of some defect in your vision. So that's why she says here that life should not be treated as a series of correction in all your visions. If you correct all your visions, if you take correction in each and every minor visions, it will not be in the process of a luminous halo. Now can you guess what is luminous halo? Yes, you are correct because it's an aura. It's an aura of what? It's an aura of glory, you can say, or sentiments. So that's why she suggests here that the modern fiction writers should not experience life just as a series of some gig lamps only corrections and corrections and corrections. Moreover they should go beyond and they should embrace the luminous halo where they will have a parallel to the horizon of the sun which is glorifying, which is representing or experiencing the sentiments. Okay, because life is not only about corrections, it is more beyond that. And that's why she says that it is a luminous halo, a semi-transparent envelope surrounding us from the beginning of the consciousness to the end. So it's a semi-transparent envelope where we can be half aware from our beginning till the end. We are conscious from the beginning till the end about our life. And that's why she has focused to observe and experience life from within it. Okay, so within it means from inside it. Okay, it should be experienced from inside, and that's how one can explore and bring the soul into the writing of the novel. Mrs. Woolf, I mean Virginia Woolf, is very clear about the objective of the writer. What is that? To create an life within. I mean to observe and to experience life as a whole and to create life as a whole. So that's why in this context, traditionalism or materialism will not come within it, because materialist or materialism is a philosophy or a theory where you cannot capture the life as a whole. Similar is to the traditionalism. And thus, to trust in life, a writer must be free and he can write what he chooses. He is not abided by rules, restrictions, traditions, or materialistic things. He needs to go beyond that, think life as a whole, and only then he can put a soul to the writings. She has praised some of the writers, as you can see here, such as Thomas Hardy, Joseph Conrad, William Henry Hudson, James Joyce, and Anton Chekhov. Among them, he praised exceptionally to the writer Mr. James Joyce. This writer, Mr. James Joyce, is quite notable from that of their predecessors. Okay, and that's why we can see that how sincerely Woolf has represented the literature, the writers, the loopholes or the innovative parts, and she is very clear. I mean her thoughts are totally clarified what she needs to say inside the critical essay modern fiction, what she is demanding, what she is appealing to the writers. Here we can see that she is appealing to the writers that the objective of the writer should be to create or to look within life as a whole. Okay, so let's move ahead. You will find one interesting point here. As a critic, her writing and criticism were often done by intuition and feeling rather than by scientific, analytical, and systematic method. And that's why Virginia Woolf says, I quote, Life escapes and perhaps life nothing else is worthwhile. It is a confession of vagueness. It has to make use of such a figure, I unquote. Virginia Woolf is quite, intuitive, you can say. That's why her evaluations or her observations are more intuitive rather than scientific, analytical, or following any systematic methods. And that's why she believes life to experience it as a whole and not in a scientific or in a systematic way. And she confesses the vagueness, inside in this experience. Okay, because for Virginia Woolf, life is not fixed. We cannot fix life. It is a constant changing process, right? We keep on changing our life, our situations, our events, our emotions, our sentiments. In our life, it keeps on changing. And that's why it is a flux, a shower of atoms of what? Atoms of luminous halo. Remember, we discussed about this term called luminous halo. Here is it. So, according to her, the human consciousness is a shelter of sensation and impression. Novelist must convey these sensations and impressions. So that's why she has been repeatedly urging the readers as well as the writers that one should, enjoy life to its fullest. Or in other words, we can say one should experience life as a whole, consisting all its emotions. It is not necessary that we will only enjoy the happy memories in our life and we will show disrespect or disobey to our, tyrannies, different tyrannies, or different, sad or sorrowful emotions in our life. No, it's not what Wolf is saying. Wolf is saying you should experience life as a whole, where we have all the emotions, all the sensations. Only then we can, create a plot where we can put a soul into the novel. There should be no limitations or conventions. And because of all these evaluative reasons, which are much more intuitive rather than scientific, Virginia Woolf is the first theorist of the stream of consciousness. Everyone might be quite, assured of this term stream of consciousness, right? Because she is one of the most renowned writers. And you know whenever we talk about stream of consciousness, it's like we cannot ignore Virginia Woolf because she is the first theorist of the stream of consciousness. She says it is a task of the novelist to convey this varying and this unknown and uncircumscribed spirit of life. And if you have not forgotten, I hope you know that the stream of consciousness is a narrative technique where, the narrative technique, I mean, the structure of the story, it follows, as it's rendering some flow of some impressions, you can say, some impressions which is associative, subliminal, or you can say it's based on memories, past experiences, basically. Here in this term, the narration is following the character's thoughts and they gradually unfold those impressions, those emotions, those feelings, and those thoughts. And finally, to sum up, we can say that Virginia Woolf observes that how, all the emotions, every emotions, even if it's an, unnecessary emotion, even it's some underrated emotions, even it's an important emotion, all emotions should be embraced gracefully and should be represented because only then one can, embrace the life from within. And each and every thought, each and every quality of the brain and the spirit is important. So there is, no method, an experiment even of the wildest. And that's why the novels of Virginia Woolf, if you have read, such as Mrs. Dalloway, okay, so the novels of Virginia Woolf have a well neat plot and it has a perfect structure. It's synchronized in case of the sequence of events, and especially you can find the technique stream of consciousness in most of the novels by Virginia Woolf. She strongly and significantly points out that the modern novel can grow only if a novelist is free from the restrictions, rules, conventions to write from his or her vision of life and keeps in view the changing concept of life as received by as revealed by modern psychology and other scientific discoveries about the working of human mind or consciousness. So she has made a strong appeal to the writers, even to the readers. How? Because we should not limit our source of, embracement when it comes to enjoy, when it comes to experience life from within. Because our life keeps on changing, and this process of changing is constant. So there is a modern psychology, okay, it has been revealed by this theory of modern psychology, this field of study of modern psychology, that life is a changing concept. So why will the conventions be limited when we are writing a novel? And that's why she strongly made a point that novel should grow gradually and keep on changing, just like life is a changing concept. Okay, this essay is quite important and a critical one, because here Woolf has tried to focus how writers should write. And it's critical because Woolf has, argued that one should not stay limited by, fulfilling the wishes of publication houses or wishes of society or so on. Rather, a writer should write what he or she is interested into and should not come under the pressure. And she just simply, ask them to write what interests them. She did not even provided any suggestions, any specific way. Did she ever provide through this essay any specific suggestion to write? No, she simply made them to embrace the novel and bring back the soul into the novel by experiencing life from within it. That's why she suggests any method is right, every method is right. That expresses what we wish to express if we are writers, and that brings us closer to the novelist. Intention, if we are readers, okay? She wanted writers to express themselves in such a way it showed life. She set out to inspire writers of modern fiction by calling for the originality and criticizing those who focused on some unimportant things, or maybe comparing the differences between cultural authors, or all for the sake of fiction and literature. Her only urge is to write what interests them, rather, not following others, or not, coming under the pressure of maybe publication houses for the businesses or society. And with this sum up and today's class and discussion on this essay, modern fiction. Okay, and I thank you everyone for listening to me. Hope to meet you all soon for another such discussion. Thank you.